Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Now today I'm with the absolute legend that is Jay Cutler. If you don't know who Jay Cutler is, then you need a slap across the face, kicking, burying somewhere. So check out Jay. How long ago is it when you were in your prime? Like 10, 15 years?
Gee, I mean, I was probably 15 years, but I mean, I've been bodybuilding for almost 30 years.
There we go.
And probably when you were still in your pants, I was.
I was still a bubble in my. I was still a bubble in my dad's sack when Jay was bodybuilding. So, but absolutely, like, put pictures of Jay to this. Jay was one of the most insane-looking bodybuilders of our generation, last generation, this generation. Like even today, I don't think it's like a different era. They're not quite the Jay Cutlers, Ronnie Coleman's anymore. It's a completely different sort of scene now. So, like, this is one of the best bodybuilders in history, plain and simple.
Yeah, man. Look, I'm glad we linked up, and I'm gonna show you a couple of things today. I know you're like, always interested in looking at different aspects of training. So we're going to focus on some back training today.
Okay.
I know you're the man when it comes to picking things up, but I'm going to kind of switch it a little bit towards repetitions and really just trying to get some contraction in there and really trying to that pump, I guess.
Get some fullness.
Yeah.
So what's the aim? Just get as big as pump as you can.
Well, I mean, you want to feel like, I remember when I used to train, man, I felt like I could go through a wall, because the back would get so pumped up. But, it's all about repetitions and, kind of movements with angles that are going to get your muscles to kind of get contraction in different regions, right? Okay. So we're going to start with a higher pull down movement, get the lats firing, and then we'll go with it from there.
Sweet. Let's get to it.
You're good. Go right through that motion.
Okay.
All right, so what we're going to focus on is we're going to do 12 repetitions, okay? I know this weight isn't super heavy, but we're going to work on the contraction. So when you come down, I want you to kind of this is kind of imitating the back double bicep, right? So
okay.
You're going to kind of squeeze, start firing the lats. Get the blood in there. Yeah. So make sure you feel the contraction. Don't just pull the weight.
Okay.
So what we try to focus on is at least 3 working sets of 12 repetitions, okay? We're going to pyramid weight up a little bit, but we want to do that contraction movement and really kind of get that. So you're going to get the pump. So 45, 60 seconds rest between each set.
Wow.
From what you're used to.
I'm used to like 45 to 50 minutes.
The mindset is really important for this, okay? So it's the mind to muscle connection that you practice. So another 12 reps. So a lot of people use straps. I'm a big straps guy, and I don't know how much you use straps. I see you're using chalk for grip.
Do you reckon use straps?
I prefer to use straps, especially. I know it's not in your lifts. It might be something you can or cannot do. But I like to have the straps on there just so I don't get the forearm pump, because when you start doing a lot of repetitions, you get that forearm pump, right?
I'm here to learn.
You have the B straps in there.
Jay says use straps, I'm using straps.
So remember, I don't want you just powering through like you're used to. Like you said, it's like A to B as fast as you can. This is like to change the mindset, okay? I know it's a different type of training, but really get that contraction.
Down, activate it, and then slow up.
Yes. So sometimes people do a pause.
Yeah.
Sometimes in the middle of the rep ranges, like say six reps, I'll kind of lock and get that mind and contract the muscle, and then follow through with the extra 6 reps. Good, that's it. So I had a wider waist, so I had to offset. I had to build as big a lats as possible. So because you always want to create that taper in bodybuilding, right? So because I was a little wider waisted, the lats had to really flare out. So I really focused on like the pull down movements, the one arm dumbbell rows, which stretched the lats, which created that crazy V taper, right?
Well, it's much.
Yeah, so
swing as you can.
That is the ideal, because remember, people search, they really strive for that X frame, right? So they want to be tapered in the center, legs bow out. I mean, that's what bodybuilding is, right?
Yeah.
So this was one of the movements that I always did to try to bring the lats out to kind of mimic the front double bicep, right?
Yeah.
So we pop the lats out. And that's kind of what you're doing in this movement, is like imitating almost like a front double bicep when you pull down.
Okay. That makes sense, yeah. One more set?
Yeah. So your hands as hooks, that's it. Right?
Okay.
We're gonna go to the dumbbell section.
Yeah.
How's it feel?
Feels
Do you
good.
feel some blood in there?
Feels good. Do you not tell? Right, one arm dumbbell, yeah? Right next.
But so what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to lengthen the lat. Okay, so
It's all about the stretch.
Yeah, it is about the stretch. So what I actually try to do, and I don't know how you do your rows now, if you come straight up and down, but what I'll try to do is when I come down, I get a stretch, so the lat actually stretches, so it'll be kind of a pull to the front and down, so you just got to make sure you stand high enough. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
And just basic dumbbell row. Okay, each arm, we're still going to focus on 10 to 12 repetitions.
What sort of weight?
Okay, the rest period is going to be, let's go.
Okay, what sort of weight?
So one arm, the other arm, and we roll with it.
Okay.
You're good. Go right through that motion. Lengthen the lats. All right, so rest time's 45, 60 seconds. So we're keeping Eddie moving here a little bit.
So, I know you've got a good tempo there. You just really concentrate on getting stretch, whack, stretch.
Yeah. And the crazy part is, when people watch me train videos, they don't feel like I have that connection to the muscle. When you do it for so long,
Yeah.
I literally can use my mind to make that contraction happen.
Because you've done it so, yeah. You've been
It's called the mind to muscle connection, which
Yeah.
you can't explain to a beginner or intermediate. Everyone has their own systematic approach on how exactly tempo versus contraction.
Yeah.
I mean, all your power comes from your hips, right?
Yeah, it does.
So
So try and isolate.
last set, best set.
Pouring out me faster than I'm drinking it.
I love to see him work like that. Hardest
shower.
He's definitely the hardest worker in this room, that's for sure.
I always find that when I put like extra muscle or fat on or whatever, so my body weight's right on like 375 pounds at the minute. Just sweat.
What's your max body weight?
435.
And when I saw you in UK last, you were lighter.
Oh yeah, like
How much? Were you 350 then, or?
yeah, about 350. Put on 25 pounds today. I'm going to put on another 25 pounds before we get to cut. So it's going to get harder before it gets easier.
It's all about the condition, man. Okay, this is pretty easy.
Okay, pretty easy.
But this is going to pull the lats. Okay, so we did a front movement, overhand grip. This is going to be underhand grip. Now, there's a lot of movements I prefer to do underhand. So barbell rows, it's just a little dangerous on the bicep, especially as the weight that we pull, right? So we're going to do reverse grip. This is going to pull the lats again, because remember, we're trying to really create that V taper. This is going to be super important for you.
Yeah.
So we're going to pull the lats again, okay, which is imitating this, right? Same thing, fingers as hooks. We're going to focus on 10 to 12 reps. Let's, I drop the seat all the way down, and let's lock it in and see how it goes here. Feels good, right? You lock the lats in?
Yeah.
Good. I'm going to go up a little bit and wait. Think so? I love that. He says, I'm going to stack it. Here I am. I'm thinking that was a pretty decent heavy weight, and he's like throwing on double now.
Hey man, you don't train with one of the greats and not train heavy.
call training angry right there.
That was nice. That was nice. 40 seconds rest, back in.
60 seconds.
Yeah,
That was a heavy set.
I've been treated here.
Yeah, 3. So we're doing like 3 sets each exercise.
How long would a workout take you?
45 minutes.
Really?
So if I was doing back, I mean, if you're doing back or legs, I mean, legs together, get quads, hamstrings, might need a little longer. But I think 45 minutes you can roll through, especially with the short rest.
Yeah, I suppose with the short rest periods.
Yeah.
So I'm training for about 2.5 hours at the minute. So what I've said, I'm having good rest. I'm training with my son as well, so it takes a bit longer.
But the ideal thing is to get that endurance up and get that intensity. And remember, it's going to, right now you're trying to bulk up, so I definitely like a little slower is sometimes better. But as you get more conditioned, your rest periods are going to have to get tighter to what you're doing today. 2 more. 1 more. 1 more now. Come on.
Feeling it, man.
So the next movement we're going to do is seated cable row.
Okay.
Pretty standard. Get a little more back thickness. So, you know, we talk about the back double bicep. Okay? That knottiness in the back. Okay? This is going to focus on that thickness part. Okay? So front to back thickness. So when you do all your side poses too, you know, you want to have that thick front to back, and that will help build the back.
Okay. That's what this is for, building the depth.
Yeah. So the depth of the physique.
Okay.
So we're going to try to keep it a little lower to here. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
So when we come back, the back straight, right?
Yeah.
So we're kind of pulling back and we're not coming back like this. With probably how you went to the gym, you always went for your lifts, right? So obviously your mind has to shift now towards, okay, how good of a pump am I getting, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you ever worked towards a pump when you were training for power. You didn't really care, right? Even though you're probably going to pump sometimes.
The only
right?
thing that matters, strongman, is how much weight you can move. That's it.
Okay,
No matter how you feel.
so now your mind has to shift to the pump is determined how good my workout is.
Okay.
So as long as the blood flows in there, and that's why the repetitions have to be more. Obviously, the food patterns has to be like the consistent eating every 2.5, 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like that's where your diet, where you're not all out eating as much calories as you're going to have to restrict and space your meals out and eat 5 or 6 portionate meals a day.
So the 10 pancakes with syrup this morning. Literally
Is
half
that-
an hour before I came here, I'm still burping them up. Is that no good?
I was nervous when you were doing the 1-arm row that you would come on. Yeah.
I did have a massive breakfast.
So that's why I kind of shifted to less bent over movements. You know what I'm saying? How is this weight?
Easy.
Okay. I'm going to go one. The next the last set, we're going to go the full thing at baby.
Well, yeah, okay.
I still want you to focus on the repetitions. We gotta drop the mindset of like we're just going to max out every machine in the gym. I know that's what you think, right?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Okay, so I want you to feel it. It's mind over matter sometimes. So.
Okay. That's good. 10 reps. Easy enough. Go heavier.
Final set of this exercise, okay? So we're focusing, like I said, 3 sets. I went up. I kept it 1 pin from the bottom just to challenge him. I don't want him to think that he's overcoming all gyms and night. Easy. It's very polite with the weights. I would have slammed. You're very polite for a strong man.
Yeah, I've always had big respect for the gym, man.
All right, so I'm going to do a reverse row. So this is kind of imitating the reverse grip barbell row. Like I said, another underhand thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think this weight stack's going to be heavy enough, so disrespect it. Oh. This is our last movement right here. This is it. So last set, best set.
Push.
Good.
Oh. Ow.
Right.
That was heavy, man. Heavy. Boom.
Like I said, I would go about half the weight.
That's great. It's eye-opening, man. It's just, it's the volume, little tweak to fix the angles. You're giving me different angles to hit that I wouldn't really contemplate before.
See, the thing is the variety in the training. So what we tend to do is do more switch around. So I know like we have our core movements, but we try to put some different things in there to stimulate different muscle fibers. So I'm not one to say you can't do the same movements in the same order and the same repetitions every week, because I believe if you train with the right intensity, you're always going to get the right stimulation and get the results. But I think it's good to kind of switch things up and have different variety in there, because you will be able to contract different muscle fibers in there.
Yeah.
And obviously training intensity, like I used to fly people in and out of Vegas when I was training for the contest, just to change up training partners, just to almost like sparring partners in boxing, just to get a different feel, because people would do it, it would make me work a little harder sometimes to try to show people, hey, this is how a Mr. Olympia trains, right?
That makes sense.
And I was pushing against Coleman, who I thought was probably the hardest trainer there was, right?
Yeah.
So we were always kind of like, okay, who's training harder at the time? And, obviously his lifts kind of tell the story, right?
So, I mean, Ronnie trained predominantly quite heavy, didn't he?
He did, and the crazy thing is we trained a lot together. And he trained the same rest times and the speed and the intensity, even with that heavy weight.
So he would do the same, so we'd have like 45, 50 seconds rest.
So for example, if we were doing legs, which we did on several occasions, because he would train legs on a Friday, we'd go to the gym and do guest appearances.
Yeah.
I would squat to 400 pounds for 12 reps, and he would do 600 for 12.
Wow.
And the first rep was exactly like the last rep. There was no difference between the first rep and the last rep.
And size-wise and like looks-wise, you were almost identical.
He was a little bigger. I mean, he had 10 years on me, so the maturity was different. But it was it's crazy to watch the top level guys, especially at that level, with the repetitions, because there's not much difference between rep 1, 2, and 3 and 9, 10, 11, 12, right? Yeah. It's like a piston,
Yeah.
Because your mind knows exactly how hard to push, right?
Yeah.
So you can kind of push through those movements and just, you get the best benefit, and it's just continuous day in, day out. Until we stood on stage at the end, displayed the best physiques we could. All we cared about was winning,
Yeah, no, you could tell that.
You won every day you were in the gym training, that was your one step closer to winning the big ones.
One of the best rivalries ever in bodybuilding, Jay Cutler versus Ronnie Coleman.
I don't know if there'll ever be another one.
I don't know, there will.
Almost 10 years we've talked too, so it's crazy.
Now, I've said this before, this probably tells Jay's age, but when I was a kid, everybody had posters of Ronnie Coleman and Jay Cutler on the walls at the gym, at home, because that's what they aspired to look like. And that's no joke. Like, as a 13-year-old kid just starting the gym, having posters of Jay in magazines and all sorts. So you definitely inspired people like myself to get in the gym and to look like that.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I traveled to Denver, and I was at a gym training, and they charged me to work out, and Brian Shaw was working the desk. I don't know if you ever heard this story. Yes, and he was upset because they charged me, and he's like, that's Jay Cutler. This is before he got into it,
Yeah.
So it's crazy to see you guys take over the industry and do the, have the success that you did, years later, and, we were all an influence for that. So it's, nothing, there's no trophies, accolades, whatever, that can take the place of being someone that gives a person motivation to be better.
A lighthouse of inspiration.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say. Right then, that wraps up the session with Jay. Jay, so I say thank you, mate.
It's a long time coming, right?
It's been an honour for me, mate, as well. Really humbling and very blessed to say to have one of the great, someone I looked up to as a kid, having trained me and put me through the motions. The new next, I might be the next Jay Cutler. You know what I mean?
We're gonna see. We're going to see about that.
Awesome, Jay. Thank you so much, man.
It,
Go and check out Jay Cutler on Instagram, on his YouTube, and like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time. Big love the beast. Take care.